I want to give a quick installation guide here, or assembly guide on these wheels that I print. They have a finished side that is reflective. It comes in two different patterns that I have on there. One that looks like a carbon fiber, and then the other one that has this pattern, triangle pattern to it instead. And so they are dull on one side and then have the carbon fiber on the other on both inner and outer rings. So just make sure when you're assembling them together that we have them facing the correct directions here rather than being backwards and having the ugly sides out. So just a simple thing to look for there on that. Make sure they're both facing with the shiny side on the outside. So these are obviously larger than the 1.0 tires that are originally designed for here. The tires are going to get the inner bead here cut off. I have these ones already marked here. And these ones are already cut. These are what you're basically cutting out of the inside here so that they can get stretched over the outside of these. And basically these nubs on the side right there are going to get stretched all the way out. If you're using like one of these, same thing, all of these nubs along these inner edge are all going to get stretched out and kind of sit over the edge there. So on the DJ crawlers, I like the 72 pins. One of the main reasons is because they come with these foams that are a dual stage, and it just happens to be that if you just get rid of that whole center stage, it works perfectly to go around one of these inner rings. So there's no having to trim the inner foam or anything like that to match, or using a 3D printed insert or anything like that. You've got a nice soft foam that we can use on there. And so what we've got to start with is these two cutting guides here. They have a slot for your bead to kind of rest inside of. Now depending on how thick your bead is, you may want to use one versus the other to get them to slip on there a little better. So on these DJ crawlers, I find the best to be using is the yellow one. And basically what you're going to do is just like if you're putting on the bead of a non-bead lock tire, basically just squeeze that thing around until you can feel that it is up on the bead, and then once it is up on the bead in there, then it's all the way around on the bead, all the way around, then we can push it in and then we can go ahead and mark it on here. So now we can go in here and mark this along the edge of here. And that gives you a nice line to cut along the inside of. You want to leave that line pretty much completely there. You're going to basically trim just up to the line on the inside. Just to here, not the whole line, just to that part. So you want to mark both sides before trimming either one of them. Make sure they're both marked on there. So on this here, you're basically going to start somewhere in here and just get rid of a little chunk, and then you can keep coming in around that bead line like that all the way around. Just leaving the whole line basically. Just doesn't have to be perfect, because that line around the outside is going to give you where you want to stretch to. So at this point, basically, now we can start assembling the foam. Throw that in the middle. And then we can stick our inner ring in. And then just make sure that this foam is kind of centered on there. Now at this point, what I find the easiest to do is to just take two opposite screws and stretch it over. So I am using these bolts, these chrome bolts here. I also have the option of these more rounded. They don't stick out as far. These ones have a big lip to the edge of them, which some people can find to help with traction. Some people find it to get in the way and hang you up. So it just depends on your style there. But basically we'll take one here, stretch it over, making sure that we don't actually get the tire in the threads as we are tightening it down. You want to make sure that it's a little bit away from it as you're getting that in there. And then we'll go ahead and get one on the opposite side here. Once you get those two in, like I said, just make sure that you're not pinched and sucking it around the bolt hole when you're going in. And then once you've got that on, you can kind of push this down and stretch it the rest of the way into place. So basically stretching it so you can see all of these evenly spaced around the outside there. And then we can tighten the rest down one at a time, gently, evenly, all the way around. And then basically repeat the same process on the other side, stretching them open onto there. Now once we have all of these stretched out and on, then the hub in the center gets bolted on to there, which I have 3 different offset hubs on. And so you'll end up with assembled something looking like this, with the inner ring and then the wheel clamped, the tire clamped in the center there, and you'll have these bolts kind of sticking out. Like I said, these are the chromed versions, which give a little bit of extra bite on the sides. You can also then do the order them with these ones here instead, which are a little smoother on the sides. The hub, usually, this is one here is a 0 offset. This is going to be kind of your standard offset in there. If you need some extra width and don't want to run wheel hexes, you could just put that in there, and that'll give you a wider offset in there instead. And then those can bolt down from there. The other option we've got is if you want to be real wide, this one here is a -4 offset. I mean, I guess technically you could put it in here and be real super narrow, but the idea is you put it this direction here, and then you become super wide, because this is what mounts to the wheel, and then they're real wide offset rather than it being more your standard offset here, and that's your 0 offset right in the middle, where this one going this direction here, you're very positive on your offset. Your center is way over here instead. So it'll give you some width. They look kind of cool that direction, but it's definitely hard on your wheel bearings and gives you a ton of scrub. So that is basically the assembly guide there. The main things to worry about is when you're cutting this ring off here, that you don't get a lot of jaggedy sections like this, because that's the kind of stuff that's going to tear eventually. On this one here, I started to go high, so I was able to cut more a second cleaner line on there. So if you're gonna have to make a second cut, make it on this rather than on the wheel itself or on the tire itself, because that's gonna cause more damage. This is just what you're throwing away anyways. So I think that's a good quick overview there. These DJ crawlers, I think, are my favorite. They give you some good soft meat still on there, compared to this is about the smallest I would ever do on there, which is the trenchers. I believe they're a 59 millimeter. This is pretty much the smallest one you can stretch over there. This is my other favorite. Next favorite here is going to be the Trepidors. They seem to work pretty well. They got a nice grip to them. They have a medium sidewall to them. They're pretty thin, low profile compared to one of these, but they're not obviously nothing like this. The Swamp Kings work fairly well. That's another option that I've done. They are the 64 millimeter. They have a good cushion for the sidewall as well. The main downfall that I don't like about these ones here is you have to either cut the foam or do some type of a 3D printed insert or something there that direction. Where these ones, they just work great with just popping out that center foam. That's the original center slug. That's the one that normally goes inside the wheel. And you can just get rid of that thing and just use only this ring here.